evening and welcome to Meticulous Moments. My name is Juanita Kapp. You can reach me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or find me on LinkedIn. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe, I've had the wonderful privilege to meet a wide array of fantastic individuals. These individuals have truly touched my life in so many positive ways. Amongst this group of people, there are authors, public speakers, life coaches, poets, leaders, and visionaries. They are the unsung heroes of our time. Therefore, I decided to start the Meticulous Moments movement out of a sense of my gratitude. It is my way of giving back to the community. Let us share and reshare their stories in an effort to build a better society. This evening we are joined by none other than the fabulous Jesse Cruz. Jesse Cruz is a professional speaker, storytelling and personal development coach, best-selling author, veteran and youth advocate. He is the founder and CEO of Merge Worldwide. Jesse inspires others to overcome their challenges and achieve their goals. Jesse speaks and coaches at events all over the world. His passion is to empower people to share their story, to heal from loss, and grow into their goals. Jesse motivates people to achieve their true potential through his coaching programs. Jesse empowers his clients to overcome adversity and develop success in their personal and professional lives. He is the author of Live Your Dash, a book written to guide people to freedom by discovering their purpose. His latest book, Losing Faith, Finding Hope, is a guide to inspire hope and overcome loss through healing. Jesse's passion and ability to connect with his audience is unmatched and have made him a highly sought-out speaker for top organizations, including the Ronald McDonald House. He was honored with the #1 Dad Award from his daughters. He and his wife Desiree believe in spreading hope by helping other people every day. Jesse is a man of faith and a pleasure to work with. If you are an event planner looking for an inspiring, highly motivated and passionate speaker for your next event, then Jesse Cruz is the speaker for you. Good day, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Moments. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we have the pleasure of spending time with the marvelous Jesse Cruz. It is a tremendous honor to have you here, Jesse. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. We are so excited to spend this time with you centered around leadership, the topic of leadership. So I wanted to ask you, Jesse, would you like to tell us more about yourself? Give us some background on who Jesse Cruz is.
Absolutely. I'm a man of faith. I'm a husband, a father. I'm a professional speaker, storytelling coach, and best-selling author. And I'm a world traveler.
Well, that's wonderful. That sounds very exciting. And I'm very happy to hear that you get to see different places and work with different people. And I noticed on your Facebook that I believe you recently visited Italy. Would you like to tell us about your lovely trip with your beautiful family? Those pictures were just amazing.
Yeah, it's my wife's dream since she was a little kid to go to Italy. That's where some of her family comes from. And so I'm all about making dreams come true for people. And we had the trip of a lifetime, and we saw almost the entire country in one trip and made a lot of great memories. Italy is beautiful. I highly recommend people to go to Italy to have a really great experience.
Well, that's just superb. And I'm sure, I know, Jesse, you love working with people. I mean, when we are in this public speaking realm and arena, we have a love for people and we want to impact them. So I'm sure, Jesse, you made quite a few friends in Italy. Am I correct?
Yeah. We had, while we were there, we were able to meet some really amazing people that lived in Italy for sure.
Fantastic. So I'm sure you will be going back there someday, maybe to spend some more time again.
Most definitely.
Wonderful. So I was wondering, when I looked at the Facebook pictures, there was a wide array of different pictures and places that you visited. Which part of the trip did you most enjoy?
I liked northern Italy the best. It's the Dolomite region, which is also called the Italian Alps. That was my favorite part of Italy.
Wow. The mountains.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I saw the one where you said it's the most beautiful place in the world. I remember that. So it's amazing when those photos are shared and we are able to also enjoy the journey with you. I really enjoyed that. I looked at the post a day or two ago, and I saw a post that you put up, and I realized, there are certain posts that are amazing. We love them and we like them, and then there are posts that grip you. And this was a post that really gripped me. It really spoke to my heart. So I want to read it to you. I want to read your post to you, and I want to ask you to tell me the story behind this, because this was just amazing and it spoke to me as well. You wrote the following words. You said, "Being a hypocrite hasn't been fun. Looking my daughters right in the eyes and telling them to go after their dream, but failing to take my own advice. Spending years running from my calling was exhausting and frustrating. I played it safe and I failed to take action. Being crippled with fear of failure and the opinions of others, I failed countless times until I had that moment of courage where I decided to leave the old me behind for the new me to be born. Putting myself in the room with winners, I love that, is still changing my life. Going to live events and sharing my story has now shown my daughters that anything is possible. Healing can happen and people can change. Even through the challenges, I'm now living my dream life. I decided giving up isn't optional. Every time I speak, I heal and the fear begins to disappear. Your story matters. When will you share it with the world?" I found that it's such an amazing post. Please tell us the background on that. That was just so tremendously impactful.
Yeah, I spent all my years being a father telling my kids, you can do anything. You can do anything.
Yeah.
You can become
Yeah.
whoever you want to be. But I didn't. So if I'm telling my children every day to become the best version of themselves, but I'm not doing it myself, I'm being a hypocrite. And therefore, I'm not
Wow.
empowering them to become the person they were designed to be, because they can look at dad and will say, "Dad, you're not. You're not becoming
Wow.
all you can be. You're not becoming the best version of you. How do you expect me to do it?" Because kids,
Yeah.
we're their, as parents, we're their first teachers. And so I
Yes.
just had to decide, like, you know what? I was so crippled by what people thought about me that
Mm.
I was living in this state of fear that they may judge me, they may criticize me, they may make fun of me. People are going to do that anyway.
True.
So let's be the best version of ourselves. Like, I'd rather be criticized for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And I
Yes.
wasn't being me. I was being a weak version of Jesse, because I just didn't want people to maybe feel threatened by my success, laugh at my success, think I'm going to
Yes.
be a failure. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it for them anyways. So if I'm not doing it for them, why am I allowing them to have so much influence over my life? I got to be the
Mm.
best husband and dad I can be. Those are the people I should be focused on, what they think about me, not just everybody in the world. I just got to do what God's called me to do, be the man I'm supposed to be. And I
Amen.
can live with any of the results, whether it goes good or it goes horrible. As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I can live with the result.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key to a life that is filled with fulfillment and truth and happiness and joy, because you are in that flow. You are being who you are meant to be. I think a lot of people go through the same thing. And I can relate to that because I've also had to make changes in my life and start to, do the things that I know that I'm called to do. So I think that was the most authentic post I've seen this whole year, and I actually keep it on my phone and I read those words as encouragement. So I just want to tell you, maybe it was just another post, but for people that see that post, it's making a difference. So I want you to know that and realize that. And thank you for being so open about it. I appreciate it tremendously. Tell us more about losing faith and finding hope.
Yeah, that was a book that we had published last year. My daughter was born prematurely. She was only 1 pound when she was born.
That's
And
very
every single day in the hospital, she was fighting for her life. And we never knew what would happen moment by moment. And after 42 days of her fighting for her life, she passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that, Jesse.
And it's because of her. Like, she was the big turning point in my life. Like, seeing her fight for her life every day gave me the motivation and inspiration to fight for mine, to like really live my life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And in that book, I share my day by day accounts with her in the hospital, all the life lessons I've learned as a husband and as a father, as a man. And the hope that came from that was the hope of healing, the hope of sharing the story, the hope of being seen, heard, and felt and understood. And that's why it's so important to me for people to share their story, because your story matters. Your story provides healing and encouragement. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself and to the world. So you can be the person that says, I went through a lot of bad things, but those bad things, I was able to use it for the good. Doesn't mean what happened is good, but I was found a way to use it for good, to inspire people and to make a change in the world. And I love being able to coach people on how to share their story, and having live events for a safe space for people to come and share what they've been through and how we can help support them to get to that next level of their success.
That's fantastic. So that really became your mission, and she made a very big impact in your life. That is amazing. That is amazing. Are there other novels that you have written since then? Are you currently busy writing another novel?
So that was my latest book. I'm actually currently working on a children's book with my daughters. We actually wrote the children's book together. So they're going to be the published authors on the book. And so that'll be out later this month. Not this month, this year.
Fantastic. We look forward to reading that as well. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. In your opinion, because we want to, talk leadership, I think really when you made that decision to change your life and to just follow your calling, you took up that baton for leadership. You pioneered, and you went ahead with how you felt you should start impacting people's lives. Tell me, in your opinion, what qualities a leader should have? What do you look in a leader for? What qualities, what attributes, are morals involved? What is your view on that?
I believe leaders listen first. And then when they listen, they take action. And in that order, listen to what you're learning, listen to what you have experienced, and then find a strategic way to take action. I think those are huge things. I think it's also honesty. They are real with their circumstances. I think it's compassion. They see hurting people and they do something to help solve a problem, fill a need. And those are just a few characteristics I believe leaders should have.
So really, when we think about it, our words should be the same as our actions. They should resonate with each other. We can't. I spoke with someone yesterday, and they were busy with team building and goal setting and vision casting. And they said it's very important that when you have that vision and goal, that not just to have a meeting about it and talk about it, but to really do what you said you would do, to go over into that action. So you are resonating what they are saying. So really to let our words mirror our actions. I think that's important. I agree with you, because otherwise they are just words. It's just something we said we'd do and then we never do them. So I agree with you completely. If you should look at your type of leadership skills, what type of style of leadership do you practice in general? I know we've got servant leaders, Some people are more dominant, they like to not work in the chaos phase. They rather want everything to be micromanaged. What type of leader are you, for instance?
I definitely love the idea of casting vision. I'm very good at talking about, what are we going to be doing 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from
Yes.
now, 20 years from now. So
Yeah.
it's big. I'm big on vision. I'm big on having a massive vision to share with people in my circle of influence. And how do we get there together, through collaboration and teamwork and putting people in the right positions for everyone to make sure that they are doing their part for this vision to become a reality that other people can see with us.
True, true. I've learned also in the years, and you might have also seen that before, when we do cast a vision, the action is important, like you mentioned, but it's also important to realize that it's not set in stone. So the plan is there, but the environment or the way we get to our goal might change on the journey, as long as we get to our goal, as long as we reach our destination. Because sometimes we think we are going to do it in one way and it doesn't pan out that way, but we still reach our goal. What is your view on that, for instance?
Well, I think when it comes to goals, I think a lot of people believe you should achieve goals, and achieving goals is important. But more importantly than achieving a goal is growing into a goal.
Yeah.
I believe in setting a goal so high that you have to change who you are as a person to get to that goal. Because if a goal is too easy, it's not worth pursuing. Goals should stretch your character. They should challenge you. They should inspire you. They should require more people than just yourself to become a reality. And so goal setting is huge, but it's really growing into the goal. I want to put a goal on paper, read that goal out loud, see how much is going to influence me to change as a person, and then go change my daily actions to meet that goal.
It makes me think, I agree with you completely, well said. It makes me think of a slogan I once saw in a shop when I was visiting my friend, and it said, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. So, yes, I agree, and we realize that we need others to collaborate with to reach those goals. So that is very true. We have to attempt to do something and actually put our mind to doing something that is bigger than ourselves. And I think that really, like you said, stretches us and turns us even into better leaders. In the COVID, many leaders were kind of stuck in their way of doing things. So the hybrid space, the physical and the virtual space, they had to kind of bring that together. And I know a lot of leaders that struggled to do that. Do you perceive that was also maybe an obstacle to certain people?
Well, obviously everyone struggled with the challenging of moments of the past couple years. But what helps, I believe, a leader rise to the next level is they see a problem, they provide a different perspective, and they adapt. So it's problems are really, for a leader, a problem really is an opportunity. It's nothing bad. It's just an opportunity for a solution to be birthed. It's an opportunity for growth. It's opportunity for change. It's opportunity for collaboration. It's opportunity to imagine something new that's never been done. So the past 2 years for this whole world has been a challenge for many people, but for the leaders, it's been great because it helped them to become more creative.
Yes, it's made them innovative in a sense. In the ministry, I always teach people that crisis breeds a move of God. And I think in the COVID crisis bred, innovation in leaders. They had to think of innovative ways to still do their jobs and develop and grow. So do you consider ongoing leadership training to be an advantage to corporate companies? Should they complete different courses in a year? Or how would you say should we cultivate the next level of leaders?
I think training is important. I think putting yourself in a room every chance you get with people who are smarter than you is one of the best decisions you can make. And because if you're the smartest person in the room, you should run out of that room and don't go back. So always find trainings, conferences, live
Mhm.
events, retreats, any place where people gather for a common cause of good to try to learn and grow themselves. That's where we need to be. And it needs to be regular. There should be stuff on the calendar each month that we are participating in
Mhm.
some sort of way that's
Yeah,
going to help us get to the next level.
I agree with you. Terrific. Terrific. I always tell leaders when I work with them that if you are a leader, you have committed yourself to lifelong learning because everything changes. The only constant is that everything changes. The only thing that stays the same is that everything changes all the time. And you mentioned that leaders that have problems to solve should adapt. So we adapt continuously. I agree with you. Lifelong learning and training, very, very important. Now, in the corporate world, we speak of there are four arenas that we most often give training in: leadership of self, leadership of others, leadership of the cooperation, and then working with stakeholders, leadership in stakeholders. If you had to describe self leadership in your terms, how do you practice self leadership in your daily life?
It's a great question. It's doing it's doing more than what I would expect other people to do. So I don't
Hmm.
ask people to
Good
do things
answer.
I'm not willing to do myself. And to
Yeah.
me, self leadership starts with your character. You know, who
Mm.
you are when no one's around is who you
Yeah.
actually are. Like, not
True.
even when you're around your family, your friends, that's still not even the realest version of you. The realest version of you is when you're by yourself. And those
Mm.
moments of solitude is revealing your character. And what are you going to
Mm.
do when no one's looking and nobody's around? That's going to be the indicator of the type of self leadership that you're going to have.
True. That's true. Who you are when no one is around, the real you. I think a part of authentic leadership is to really be you. You know, I've worked with people that behind the scenes you see a lot of things going on, and then when there is maybe a function or something, you see a different side. And I agree with you, we should get to that place where we are authentic, we are being real. And I think also that's why the post gripped me, because people wouldn't often have the courage to put that down on paper, to say, here I am, this is what I went through. And I think we can all relate to you in that sense. I wanted to ask you, and I love this question because I can think back to many scenarios in my leadership journey that I've had this scenario. But what was the hardest decision you have had to make in your life as a leader? The most difficult situation you were in, the hardest decision?
The hardest decision I had to make was to be a husband, truthfully. And this is why.
Mm-hmm.
Had nothing to do with my wife. She's the greatest woman on earth. Had everything to do with me.
Amen.
It had everything to do with my insecurities, my limited belief of what if it doesn't work? What if it fails? What if I mess it up?
Yeah.
So the hardest decision I made was saying, you know what, I'm going to be 100% all in, fully committed to this
Yes.
one person for the rest of my life. And it had nothing to do with her, really, because my commitment level was low. I wasn't
Yes.
a committed person. I wasn't someone who had healthy relationships, but I knew
Mm.
that's what I wanted. So I knew that if I believe the quality of any person's life is the quality of relationships, and I wanted a better life. Therefore, I had to have better relationships, which starts with my wife. And when I made
Yes.
that decision, I knew that there would be challenges along the way. And when times got hard between us, I had moments where I wanted to leave. I wanted to quit. I didn't want to be married no more. And it's because I was a bad husband. I didn't feel worthy or deserving of that kind of love and acceptance that I had. And so I would think about ways to ruin it or ways to run away and not face myself and all the damage I've done. So the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life was to accept my flaws and still work
Yeah.
through them all and and allow people to love
Yeah.
me when I felt unlovable.
Mm-hmm. And that had such a positive effect on your life and your, your movement and your public speaking. I'm sure. I commend you on that. I commend you on, doing that and just saying, I am lovable. I am worth it. I am good enough. Was it a long journey that you had to make that decision, or was it just a specific moment that you just, in that moment you changed, or was it something that progressed?
Well, everything comes from the grace of God. So without God,
Amen.
I can do
Amen.
nothing. And so
Amen.
it's a lifelong journey. There's moments where the old Jesse tries to creep back in, tell me that I'm not worthy or deserving of that kind of love. And I have to remind myself that God only makes masterpieces.
He
I'm his
does.
child. I'm his favorite. He loves me. And I just have to remind myself of that every single day, because there's just moments where I can forget it. And so to me, it's a lifelong thing to consistently remember I am more loved in this moment than I'll ever be. That's how much I'm loved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I was thinking of that scripture in Romans 8 when you were speaking now. God makes all things work together for the good of those that love Him and are called according to His purpose. So I can just see the testimony of your life. And, I think that's what also makes your public speaking so impactful, because you are real and you say what happened and you share. You are open to sharing and discussing, and you say it like it is. Are you someone that is very straightforward? What type of how are you when you work with people? If you, for instance, as a leader, see someone transgressing, I'm sure you would discuss it with them. How would you handle a situation like that?
Yeah. So when I coach people and I see some challenges and changes that they may be making that is going against their
Yeah.
ultimate goal, I remind them of the goal, and it's just
Mhm.
having a conversation of, is this, you got to
Absolutely.
filter people's ideas for what means the most to them. And so
Yeah.
if their goal is to be the greatest mom in the world, well, is this decision helping you to become the greatest mom in the world, or the greatest wife or husband or
Mhm.
dad? Is this decision you're making helping your business grow? And it's just
Mm.
reminding them of their needs, and then how their actions are reflecting their goal. Because if your actions are not reflecting what you want to become or achieve, then you need to redirect and make different decisions to get to that level that you want to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you discussed that sometimes the old Jesse wants to come back, and then you have to remind yourself that you are, worthy of the love and the acceptance. As leaders, how do you perceive we should go about helping people to stay on track? Because I know that, we have sessions with them, we do training with them, but in the end, it's their decision what they do. Are they going to focus on that goal again? And I was thinking maybe suggesting good, healthy habits. Would that assist someone to be in a routine and have good, healthy habits? Would that assist them to reaching that 5-year goal, reaching that 10-year, 20-year goal that you have mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I think a lot of it starts with your morning routine, and your best morning routine starts the night before. And so it's
Yeah.
being organized and having a goal and vision of how you want your morning to start the night before. A lot of people, they just wake up and they race to the phone, or they run out the
Mm.
house, they're running behind, or they just lay in the bed even though they're awake. It's like, get up, go do something that's going to provide a little bit of progress. It could be the
Yeah.
smallest little thing, but once you do one little small act of progress, then what that
Mm.
does, it gives you the confidence to continue the habit. And so
Mm.
the next habit, which builds upon the next habit, and all of a sudden you have habit after habit that you have formed. Little successes over the course of time create big, massive waves of breakthrough.
And that's what we want. We want that breakthrough. So yeah, I can imagine how that can build on each other to eventually get, that person to the place that they want to be. For instance, what is your morning routine like?
So morning routine for me is that I read God's word, I drink some
Amen.
water, I go for a walk, I do my goals and targets. I do my power questions. I do some praying, and then I start my day. Yeah, but those are things that I do. Those things have to be done every morning before I even leave my house.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of sets the stage for the day.
Oh, absolutely. Morning routine changed my life forever.
Fantastic. I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, what is a power question?
Okay, so power questions is probably one of the most influential habits that I have in my life. I ask
Mm-hmm.
myself several power questions every single morning. What a power question is intended to do is to change your mindset. So even if you woke
Okay.
up and you're exhausted, you're tired, you're mad, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're sad, whatever the negative
Yeah.
emotion you could be experiencing, a power
Mm-hmm.
question is meant to change that. So when I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, what am I happy about? Or if I'm
Okay.
happy about something, ask myself, what could I be happy about? Same thing, what
Mm-hmm.
am I excited about? What am I enjoying? What am I committed to? What am I proud of? Who do I love? Who loves me? What am I thankful for?
Mm.
Those are all ways to reframe and train your brain to
Yeah.
move to a more positive mindset. And then I'm able to do the right things in my relationships and in my business because now I have the right emotional mental states to make the best decisions
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Absolutely. I mean, just, having that gratitude in your heart in the first place, that puts us on another level. I tell people when I work with them in counseling, I tell them that if they wake up that way, they can always put on praise and worship music, because I'm a firm believer that praise just lifts you above your circumstance. It just takes you out of that place of anxiety, because you wouldn't believe how many people wake up with fear and anxiety every morning. So I always encourage them to do that. But I'm going to start with a power question from tomorrow morning. Thank you for imparting that into my life. So that's amazing. If we had to kind of look at this, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, if we had to use fruit as an example, the conscious mind is about the size of a mango, and the subconscious is about the size of a watermelon. And I always tell people that your conscious mind is the helm of your ship, where the subconscious mind is the ship itself. And if you can learn how to control your thoughts and make them positive ones, make that decision to make them positive, you are able to steer your subconscious, and that is when your manifestations and your prayers are answered and your dream life become your reality. How would you view that, for instance?
I tell people in regards to thinking, if someone is overthinking, they should write. And if they're
Yes.
underthinking, they should read. If you
Wow.
implement those two things back and forth periodically throughout your day, because our brain is either going to go on like a lazy mode where we're just not thinking about nothing, or typically more common, overthinking. And when
Yes.
you overthink, writing provides clarity, calmness, and reduces the anxiety. When I mean writing, I mean pen to paper, not typing, because there's science that
Putting it
shows
down.
when you handwrite, it actually releases these dopamine, these chemicals in your brain to feel
Wow.
good, to help release stress. So handwriting on paper is one of the most healthy habits a person can do for their self-care.
Fantastic. So in effect, journaling,
Yes.
writing down what they experience, getting it out there. Do you perceive that when they put it on paper, they are able to deal with it better?
Yeah, well, because when you put something on paper, it becomes real. So we
Yeah.
may have a goal and vision how we want our life to be, but once you start writing it down, you're able to see it, you're able to feel it. It's a reminder. And so writing things down of what you want to become or achieve in life provides you with more clarity and a
Mm,
stronger belief in yourself that it's possible.
fantastic. I wanted to ask you, what is next for you? What is next? You're busy with the children's book. What other events have you got scheduled? How may we support you? What's next?
Yeah, so next is we have our transformation retreat coming up in October. Really
Yay!
excited about that. Have a few spots still open, and
Wow.
we're really excited to have so many amazing people from all over the country. coming there to make an impact and to be seen, heard, and understood, and seeing how we can best grow as a community of people, helping our visions, our missions, and goals become a reality.
That's fantastic. Yes, that community upliftment. We look forward to that event, and we will be looking, for your posts on that as well. And my final question to you would be, do you have any words of wisdom for the audience? Is there something in your spirit that you want to share? We mentioned honesty, we mentioned courage, we mentioned many topics here this afternoon. What would you like to share with the audience?
When a person doesn't share their story, the pain inside of them grows. Mm-hmm. And when you do share your story, that pain it goes away. And I encourage people, your story matters. You are the only person in human history to have your story. So that's why it's so important for it to be told. Make sure you find a coach or some live events or a safe space for your story to be heard, and you will see a completely different life. When you share your story, you begin to heal, and everybody around you becomes better because if you had the courage to be the one in your family to decide, I want better, and you got to be the one. So go today, be the one, and share your story and change lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in essence, our story is not just about ourselves. It's also about community upliftment and bettering other people's lives. Thank you very much, Jesse. Thank you so much for joining us. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, everyone. As we will be sharing Jesse's contact details at the end of the session. And please go look him up, network with him, follow him on Facebook and the other platforms, and let's make a positive difference in society together. Have a lovely evening. Goodbye.